Hey y'all, I have a little project to share today. This is something that I have been working on with my good friend Donna Joy, who helps to host the Creativeville art retreats here in Fayetteville every April. And we were trying to come up with an idea for her and I to teach at next year's retreat. If we get to, it just depends on if our venue lets us add more days, and we're keeping our fingers crossed about that. But anyway, she showed me this idea that she did with her art group, and it's just a little accordion book made out of a file folder. And I will put the links to the inspiration videos in my video description or up in the corner somewhere. I don't know. They'll be somewhere, because this is not our original idea. And I made several, prototypes, just played around with different sizes. In the end, we decided we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to teach this one at the retreat. So I thought I could just go ahead and make a video. My plan is to finish these out and maybe give them away as door prizes, because we like to do that. So, yeah, that's when I decided, well, heck, I'll just go ahead and video it, and we'll see what happens. At the retreat, Donna's going to teach her gel printing technique. This is not the gel printing technique that she'll be teaching. She has a really cool one. This is my slap it on there. Just, make it colorful technique. Not really a technique, but anyway, I will show you how to do it. And in the end, I did the file folders. Well, I'm a little discombobulated. It's been a while since I've done a video, and really no reason other than I just hadn't wanted to. And that's kind of my criteria for when or if I film. I have to want to, because this is fun for me. And if it doesn't feel fun, then I don't do it. So, I've still been doing stuff, I just haven't been filming it. So anyway, let me try to get my thoughts together. Okay, you make these out of file folders, and even the pieces that you cut off, when you trim the file folder down, I saved and then painted them as well. I also painted just some computer paper, because I wasn't really sure what I was doing or, where this was going. So I've got that, and then more scraps. So I'll show you the painting technique. And plain file folders, I don't remember where I got these. It might have been at a thrift store or something, because they're all really used and kind of weird, and that's fine, because this is not anything fancy, and I like the recycling aspect. And what I ended up doing to finish mine out is I used an old magazine and just put images from the magazine, and this is what I used. It's a Vogue pattern book. This one was 1969, this one was 1968. Okay, you probably are not going to have these on hand. If you run across one of these at a thrift store, I do recommend you pick it up, because they're really cool. And there's lots of women images in here that you can use. What I did is I just cut out whatever would fit in my book, and then I just glued it down for no reason. It makes no sense. I just like the images. A lot of them are really large, so these are going to be excellent for paper dolls and stuff. So yeah, these are just fabulous. I love these, and even the advertisements at the back, and then the pattern. It shows the pattern things. I love it. I love it. That's what I used. If you don't have this, use whatever you have. It doesn't have to be vintage. Just use a magazine, and you're just kind of deconstructing it. See, I still used the title parts, on here. And then inside, I've got, this is how the book works. Just an accordion book with pockets, and you've got signatures here and then one here, and so it goes like this. I used my computer pages for the signature, outside piece on the signature, and then the insides were just, it's not really a dictionary, but they're kind of like dictionary pages. They're really thin. So I just used whatever. And it's so funny because when I was cutting out images, I knew I wanted these ladies to be on the back panels here. And so I cut them out, fussy cut, trimmed around them. And when I was going to glue them down, I found that if I positioned them just right, their little faces just peeked out from behind the little tag insert things, and that made me really happy. And it was a total accident because I had cut the tags and put them in the pockets before I glued the women down, and it just happened to work out just right that their little faces peek out, and that makes me happy. And these, I thought about making them tags, you know, poking a hole and putting a thing, but I just kind of like them as these card inserts, which can be just decorative. They can be journaling spots on the back or whatever. You know, like I said, I'm going to be giving these away most likely, so I wanted to leave a little bit open to interpretation so that whoever ends up with it can add to it or use it or, you know, kind of do their own thing. So we've got pockets, and we've got the, we'll just call them inserts / tags, whatever, and they're just all decorated with something that I cut out of the pattern book that fit. You know, that was really the only criteria, is that it fit. And the signatures are just sewn in with a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And then here's the back. Oh, I just glued everything down with a glue stick. There we go. Problem solved. Okay. And then this is the back. That. And like that. So, super easy and fun, and yeah, I really like this. I think I'll probably do this too with some modern magazines, just whatever I have on hand, you know, deconstruct them in sort of the same way. And there you go. I mean, not only is it easy to just pull from one magazine, but it's also a good way for some of these vintage magazines, and this is not really a magazine, pattern book, publication, whatever, where, you know, you love it and you just don't want to throw it away, but, you know, you can't just, some of us can't keep a huge stack of full magazines. So just pull out your favorite pieces of it, deconstruct it, and then this could be what you keep for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm going to show you. And this is what's left of this pattern book that I used. I've still got some images left in here that I do want to, I'm going to pull them out and cut them out, put them with my collage images, because there's still a lot of things in here that I want to keep. They were just too big to use in the little book that I made. And these are some of the smaller things that I cut out and didn't use, but I can use these in some of my other books. So, you know, I've still got pieces to pull from. So, let's get started. Okay, so I've been using my gel plate, not really as a gel plate decorative tool. I mean, you certainly can. You can do, you know, the whole stenciling thing or whatever you normally like to use on your gel plate. I just like to sometimes use it as a tool to put color down. And that's what I'm going to do. So I need my gel plate and a brayer, and then an area where you brayer off your ink, because yeah, all of that went into these. There's some brayering off. You can see brayer marks on it, and I kind of like that look. And then some of them, I just did this. Really, that's all there is to it. So, and in case anyone asks, because every time I use my gel plate, someone does ask, and I have it on a piece of, this was a piece of glass that I got out of a frame from like a thrift store or something. So, I mean, you know, if if I did another one now, I'd probably try to find me a good piece of plexiglass, because this is the kind that will shatter if it breaks. But I've been using it for years. It hasn't broken. I put some decorative duct tape around the edges, and this is what my gel plate lives on. I still have the piece of plastic that came with it. I don't have the clamshell thing. I threw that away because that was irritating. So yeah, I just put this on it, and then I leave it on this glass, and then I put it in a drawer, and I don't put anything on top of it. But I mean, you can see my gel plates, it's experienced. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, so I need my gel plate, I need some paints, and for these I've just been using some bright colors and super cheap paints, because that's what I have, and you don't need anything fancy. So I've got an orange, this says Pure Pumpkin, and Moon Yellow. Those are both Deco Art. This is an Deco Art Americana Neon Green. And then another Deco Art Desert Turquoise. And an Apple Barrel Fuchsia. And there's not much left, so I pulled out a, whatever this is, Folk Art Bright Pink. So that's it. Some kind of an orange, yellow, green, teal, pink. That's my color palette. And I found that if you put them on in kind of like a rainbow order, then you don't risk anything getting muddy. The colors are not going to mix, but just layering them one on top of another. Sometimes when they're see-through and they don't go together, you get kind of a muddy look. So just make sure that, you know, orange and yellow like each other, yellow and green like each other, green and blue are good together, and then blue and pink are good together, and then, you know, if you go around again, pink and orange are good together. So that's how I decide what order to put them on. And then I just need my file folder. Oh, before we get to that, let's prepare our file folder. And okay, I experimented with lots of sizes for this book. And honestly, you know, you can do whatever size you want. It doesn't matter. I just do, you know, about a 2 to 2.5 inch pocket. And then however you want to make it to where it folds so that whatever size your signatures are will fit. And you can see in this one, it's done in such a way where, you know, all the panels are about the same size, right? You know, this would probably be the back, and they're pretty close to the same size. The one that I did this, I wanted it a little bigger because, you know, I already had these painted pieces here. And so I knew I wanted these for my signatures. And, you know, I would have to either cut this down to fit in here, or I could make this a little bigger and only have to cut this part. So that's what I did. So this goes in here. I made it a little bit more narrow so that it would fit, because you can see that these panels are not the same size. This one's bigger, and then the middle's smaller, and then this one's like this. And it all just depends on how you fold it, and it's totally up to you. You know, I'm not going to give you like specific measurements, or I may measure what I'm doing, but you can just, you do you. That's what I'm saying. So, what we start out with, if you can tell, this is see right here, that's this part. So this started out like this, right? And you want to keep your tab, so don't let that be your cutoff point. You want to do like this, and then that's your offcut, because you want to keep your tab. So this looks like I cut it, and I'm going to add, okay, how big is my pocket? Where's my ruler? Okay, my pocket is about 2.5 inches. So this is 6 inches, and add 2.5. so it's going to be about 8.5 inches. Okay? So that's where I'm going to cut it off so that it's about 8.5 inches. I'll do like this. There's 8.5 right there. And that's where I'll cut it. So there's my offcut. And that is the only cut that you have to make. So now we've got it. And then from this point, before I even fold it or do anything else, I want to go ahead and paint it and then I'll fold it. I mean, you can do it either way, but if you fold it, then paint it, then your creases always have like this little white shadow, which honestly doesn't bother me because I do the messy thing, but whatever. We're just going to paint it first. And this is my little offcut scrap, and this is what I will use to make the little inserts, little tags or whatever. So I keep this right here to roll my brayer off on it, and then that's how I paint my tags and inserts. And I don't really need to keep it that long for tags, so I'm going to just chop it in half. Okay. I don't know what these folders did in their previous life, but they got to work out. I don't know. Okay, so we're cut to size. And now we're going to paint, and I'm going to take my little gel plate and my little brayer, and I'm going to put on some orange. Y'all don't judge me for the condition of my paints. It happens. Some of them are like water, and some of them are super lumpy, and I have to do surgery on them just to get them flowing again. But yeah, if I can get paint out of them, I use them. I put on a very light coat, and you can see this is not really what I would consider a light coat. So here we go, over here. We do like that, and then like that. And I don't like, you know, lay it down and then smash it. Sometimes I do, but I like this little mottled, a little bit here, a little bit there look, so that nothing is even or anything. There you go. And then you just keep going. And I usually do one side and then maybe reverse the order of my color, or not reverse it, but change the order of my colors before I do the other side. That way the sides will be a little different. And then when you fold up your pocket, you'll get some contrast, you know? So I'll just keep going. Here's yellow. Don't have to cover the whole plate even. This is just very loosey-goosey. Do whatever. See? I can press harder now because I've got most of the ink or the paint off of there. Just sometimes if you just, if you put the paint on there and then you do this at the very beginning, you pull all of it off and then you get a really intense section, and I don't want that. You want little blank areas for other colors to show through, and you know, this is what you're going for. So now let's do some neon green. Okay, apparently that's all it wants to do. And times I'll pay attention. I'll see, oh, there's a blank area there. There's a blank area there. Maybe you need a little over here. You know, you don't have to do the whole thing. Just do it wherever you want. I like it. Let's move on to this kind of teal blue. Ah, gorgeous. Whew. I like that. That's awesome. It's kind of awesome just like it is, but let's see what happens with some of this pink. This one, I think it got thick and I added some water. And now it's just really watery, but it's still pigmented, so we're going with it. Okay. Oh yes. That's just the little extra that it needed. And then if I think, oh, it needs more pink or it needs more this or that, then I'll go back and add some more. Just do it till it feels right to you. See, this up here is a little bit blank, so let's put some pink on that. Maybe right there. This is truly just using your gel plate as a tool, or as like almost like a palette. Yep. To me, that is perfection. I love it. Alrighty now, my pieces are dry. This is my book, and then these two pieces, where'd they go? These two were my offcuts that I just braided off on, you know, and you can kind of see the difference between the brairing off and then, you know, when you lay it on your plate and you do this, then you get this delightful modeling look. But either one gets color on there, and that's the point. These were scraps or offcuts from other projects, but they're all file folders. So I went ahead and colored those so I'd have some options. And now I will show you how to fold your file folder. So remember, this was our file folder, and we cut this section off. So now we're going to open it up, and I want my tab right here on the front cover to look like this. So that means that this needs to be this front cover. So, and I decided I want this the outside, this the inside. So what I'm going to do is fold from the bottom up, because I want this to be my top part right here. And how far I fold up depends on the height of my signatures. And you know, this is probably what I'm going to use for my signatures like I did in the other one. So that fits. So that's how tall I'm going to make it. I don't even know what that measurement is, and it doesn't matter. But see, it comes like right up to this. I could have, you know, done this and then trim around it to make the ends meet. But it just happened to be just right where it comes right up to there. So that is going to be my pocket. Room, little room at the top and bottom for my signature. So I'm good there. So now what I'm going to do is, this is still the front of my book, but I'm going to fold it like this, put my pockets on the outside, and I really do want to crease my pocket good. Yeah. Things are falling, little avalanche. Okay, there it is. Crease my pocket good. And then I need to fold these this way, but how far over I fold them just kind of depends on my signatures and evening up. You want these two back pieces to be even, because see, you want it like this. It would be weird if they were offset. So I want those to be even, but I'm also kind of fussy about the back. If this is too low, you get a lot of this showing. I don't mind a little bit, but I don't want a ton of it showing. So I just kind of sit here and mess with it until it feels about right. I don't worry about the width of my signature because I know, you know, I can just trim those off, no biggie. So I just kind of went, okay, do this about like this so that those are about even, and I don't have a lot of this showing. So that's about even if I do it like that. And then this, I want those even. So this looks about right. Again, I don't know what that measurement is, and I don't care. I'm just gonna fold. Make sure everything is smooth, and then there is the construction of your file folder booklet. Super simple, just an accordion, and just the size of your accordion folds just depends on what you want to do with them. Okay, so honestly, I do the signatures last because I want to do my decorating before I get anything sewn in, just because they're in the way. But I'm going to put them together first so that you can see how that goes. And I was trying to decide what to use for the inside pages. I didn't want to use the same book that I used before. But look at this. I got my magazine out. And these very pages at the end, the ones with the advertisements I want to keep, because some of these just fit perfectly. They make perfect tags. Yeah. So I want those. But these pages, I think these would make good signature pages. They're just kind of boring. There's not a lot happening on them. So let's just pull these off. This is got a weird construction. These are stapled in, but they also have a little bit of glue on them because the covers are glued. Here's what I'll do. Let's just pull the covers off because it was just glued onto the back. And then now, I don't want to cover that up. This is my inspiration piece. Okay. Now I want these last few pages. Yeah, these ads, I want to hold on to those because there's stuff in there I want. And I really could. How hard would it be to get those staples out, do you think? I mean, I don't know that I necessarily need to, but if I can, it might make it easier to pull the pages out without tearing them up so much on this side. And again, I don't think you necessarily have to do this. I'm actually doing it just to see if I can. I don't know. I may need to do that at some point. Who knows? Okay, whether or not that helps anything, I don't know. But it's possible to do. Now we know. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, look how easy that is. Yeah, that did make a difference. So, I've got all these. See this I might want to use. Let's set that aside. And then these. Yes, these I think will be the pages of my signatures. Now, they need to fold. And, oh look, that might just be just right. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it in half. And half is going to be right over there. So, this is another thing I've been doing. I'll show you right quick. This is one of those Hobonichi Weeks date books. And I have 3 jobs, so I have to really be careful with scheduling. They're all part-time, and if I schedule them just right, everything works and still gives me a little bit of free time. But I started using this in, I think it was March. Yeah, March. So I didn't use this whole first section, which was January, February, and then the yearly calendars, which I don't need. So I just turned it into this doodle pages, and I doodled on them just like when we're watching TV. Sometimes the doodles I don't like them, and I refuse to look at things that I don't like, so I black out the page. Sometimes I'll glue another page over it, you know, but yeah, this is what I like. Because the Hobonichi, you know, has this fabulous paper that's just excellent for doodling. So, yeah, that's something I've been doing. Don't ask me for a doodle video. I've tried it before and failed. I cannot doodle on camera. I just can't do it. So, okay. I was here, and we're going to cut these about in half. And I'll have to trim them a little bit more, but this is a good starting place. Yeah, there we go. And, oh look, it's going to be about just right. And now, what I do, you're going to want to glue your pockets, and you can trim. You know how sometimes it's easier if you like trim right here so that your pocket folds flatter. I think I did that in some of these. In one of these. Did I do it in any of these? I didn't even, oh, here we go. Well, there's one example. See, you just make a little V cut, and it keeps it from bunching up in the spine, and it folds flatter. You can certainly do that. I haven't bothered with any of these. It hasn't been an issue. So totally up to you. If you don't cut them like that, then all you need to do is put a little bit of glue or skinny double-sided tape right here and right here, and then you're good to go on your pockets. And that is what I'll do, but I'm not going to do that yet because I did that on this one, and then I went to glue these ladies in, and I had to kind of, you know, finagle them down in there. I think it'll be easier to decorate my back panels if I don't glue that down right away, because, you know, I can do this and then that. So what's left now is going through my magazine and just pulling out things that I think I might want to use in here. Some of it I'll fussy cut, some I won't. See, she's kind of fussy cut, but she's definitely not. So yeah, I'm just gonna, and that's what I did in the other one. I just started pulling pages out, and then I went through and started figuring out where I wanted them and if I needed to fussy cut. So do you want to look through this with me? Maybe we'll do that. I'll pull the pages out together. We'll do this together, and then I'll figure out what comes next. Okay. All right. I don't know. I like this $2. And some of these I pull out, and I may not end up using here, but I just know I really, really want them. So, yeah, but that's a good size, because see, it'll fit pretty much anywhere. So I'm going to pull this page out because I know I want something off of that. This I definitely want, and originally I had it on the back here. I had to trim it down because it was too big, and I loved it, but then I found this unique invisible zipper thing. So I ended up covering up most of it, which was fine. But I like it because see the arrow points here, and it points to like your hidden little area back here. So I had to do it. I was forced to. So, but anyway, I'll definitely keep that. Oh no, then I can't keep the $2. Well, that's okay. I think I like this one more. So, she's okay, but not thrilling. She would be a good size for a tag, because see, some of them, I did some tall and some short, all different widths. Again, I didn't measure, and I didn't even decide what went on them before I cut them. I cut them first, and then I found things to fit on them. So, I mean, you could do it either way. But, you know, some are thinner than others, some are fatter. Just let it happen organically. So, this is good size for, these were the most challenging to find things that fit because they're kind of short. So that might go on there. I want those words. And it's like pretty underwear. Again, I don't know if it'll go in the book that we're making, but I definitely want that. What? Oh man, underwear just barely fits, and it would have to be on a cover because see, these are shorter. But heck, I'm going to keep that. I know I'm going to keep it, so I might as well pull it out. And good, there's nothing really in the back that I have to have. How to defend yourself against the human parasites who want to rule your life. Wow. Beware especially of these 4 types of human parasites. Y'all, we need to know this. The perfectionist, the injustice collector, the human swamp, the love dominator, the greatest sin of all, the sin of obedience. I don't even know what this is, but I just really feel like I need to read this entire article. I'm going to put that aside for my own personal enjoyment. That's awesome. Okay. A woman's clothes are like a woman. True style and distinction must start below the surface. Is this like for panties or something? I don't know. Oh, well that's pretty. Okay, I'll keep that. Okay. None of that is really calling out to me. Well, of course I'm going to keep her, but definitely not for this book. So I'll make another stack there. And some of these black and whites are just not real crisp. So they just don't do anything for me. That doesn't do anything for me. And on these pages that I know I'm not going to keep, I have some over here. Like I didn't want her. I didn't want these. So I'll just use them to glue stick on, you know, and throw them away. So, I just don't see me using that for anything. I love the colors. She's just a fabulous color palette, but it just doesn't really excite me. She, you know, again, sometimes it's just the photography that bothers me. Even if I cut it out, I don't know. This doesn't appeal to me. We're going to be here all day if I, you know, go through critiquing each page. So, yeah, I'm just gonna not. Let Norm and Sue Morris develop your skills and talents through the wonderful world of home study. I kind of like Norm and Sue right here. Can you see Norm and Sue? We would be friends. I'm going to keep Norm and Sue. Okay, this one, I kept this on the other one, and I cut out that sewing machine, which was super tedious. Is that the one I used on the cover? Yep. It was tedious, but I don't know, maybe worth it. I might keep that one again. I like her earring. And again, these tall ladies I can use for stuff in a different setting. Yeah, I'm going to keep that for another time. And probably those. I like these illustrated gals. And then some of these. I wish they were smaller. Okay. Those will go in my use later stack. And those are some big girls, and they're not real clear, and they're not easy to cut out. She might be easy to cut out, but her face is not real clear. So, but I don't know. She has that fabulous hat. Okay, fine. I'll keep it. Now these are a little smaller. I think, yeah, these are the same size girls that I used for the back of here on these panels. Good. Is she too big? I need to clip this one. I could possibly use her. Okay, those are all too big. I mean, they're really not if you want just a whole giant head on the panel. Then they're fine, you know, just put like a big old head right there. Nothing wrong with that. I could do that since I used the smaller ones on the other one. Well, I don't have to decide right this minute. Okay, let's just put these over here. And then these I might be able to use in this book. She's kind of big, but I really like, you know, she would come up about that far. I like her. I might use the big heads. Okay, I've pretty much gone through my whole magazine. This one didn't really have a lot of smaller, as many smaller images as that other one did. But I've got these to look through and decide. And then I've got these for the smaller areas and for tags and stuff. And then I also have this little stack left over of this one, because I will pull that for the cover most likely. But I've got this stack of things that I pulled from the last magazine, the one this one. And I have a bunch of leftovers, and some of them are small, and some of the ads, some words, and this one had some more sewing machines. So yeah, these were leftovers I can still use. You look at her, might put her somewhere. So I'm going to sit and study in private, and try to figure out what I'm going to put where and how to cut it out. So I will do that on my own, and then we'll come back and start putting it together. Alrighty, now here's what I ended up with that I cut out of my pattern book. And see, like these are awesome. I don't know that I'll use them. This one I might. Although this one, I mean, I really could. I don't know. Anyway, I've got things like that. I've got, oh, this 75 cent. I want to do it like I did the other one and just use my little round punchy thing. And there we go. Yeah, just circle punch that out like that. So I've got those, I've got this, I've got her, I've got, these are some of the advertisements in the back that, you know, I talked about how they make really good tags. I cut out some words and phrases and just different things. And then I've got all of the girls that I cut out, all these ladies. These were the illustrated ones that I ended up with. And then she's just probably going to go in my people binder because she's kind of, you know, in a weird position, but I loved her. So I've got her, and then all of these. And honestly, I cut out most of them, but not all of them. They were super easy to cut out, you know, the fussy cutting part, especially these gals with their turbans. Super easy. And then just use my X-Acto to get the little spots there. So I've got lots to choose from. And yeah, these are going to be awesome. That's just a lot of gals right there. And then I decided I just need to keep this whole page because it's this advertisement for whatever this is, seam tape. Is that what it is? Yeah, whatever. And it says, it's like pretty underwear. Like pretty underwear, pretty seam binding pampers your ego. I did not know seam binding could do this for me. It coddles your soul, y'all. It says right here, coddles your soul, makes you pretty pleased with yourself, and does its job, of course. Let's not forget that. Agreed? Then undoubtedly you're ready for the prettiest seam binding there'll ever be. Flexi lace. Flexi lace is stretchable and terrific for knits and a cinch to stitch on and very, very pretty. Just like your underwear. Isn't it nice to be a woman and wear pretty little things that make you happy? Oh my God, this is so insulting on so many levels. I just love it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I just want it. And okay, my cover. So here's what I'm going to do first. This, no, I'm going to lose that. I just know it. All right. See how I did this one? And I like that. I like that look. I thought I would probably just do it on our new one that we're making. But here's my issue. You know, I've talked about how this is like super flimsy and worn, and it had labels on both sides that were stuck down with some like really old adhesive. You know, they were not repositionable, and it just took part of the paper with it. So I want to reinforce that. I thought what I might do is just sort of position this here and then kind of trace around it and just cut it out. Let me show you. Let's see. Let's just see. I'm thinking, okay, maybe go up like that, and like that, and like that. All right. Glue that on right there. Trim around it. And then that way it's a little bit sturdier, you know. And then I've got my thing here. Yeah, that'll work. And I'm not worried about, I mean, she's got like the weird top of her head there, but you know, we'll collage over it, whatever. So that way it'll kind of reinforce my little weak thing here. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go and see who's pinging my phone in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, got that glued down. I just used a glue stick to stick it on there, and then I trimmed around, you know, trimmed off any excess. So that works to reinforce my little tab. And before I get too far, I almost forgot. On this one, see, I had gone around the edges a little bit with, you know, just made a kind of a messy edging. And I want to do that here too. So I grabbed a paint pen. Let's see what this one looks like. It's a blue. I think it'll go. And it's got like a brush on one end and then a pointy thing on the other. I mean, like, really, it doesn't matter. And all I did was just, let's start down here in case I don't like it. is just kind of do like this and then do like that. And then it just makes kind of this messy edge. And you can use like a Stabilo pencil or a watercolor pencil. You can make a nice edge on it with a marker or paint pen. You could do something metallic, you know, like a gold or silver. That would look good. And I'm going to do it all the way around, front and back. And then I'm also going to do it on my folds, you know, like here and then over here, just because I like the way it looks. Alrighty, now I've got my my little edges done, and I went ahead and glued in some of my girls that I knew I wanted here. I just kind of slipped them in and figured out which ones were wide enough or narrow enough, and you know, got them how I wanted them. I put these two little illustrated girls back here, and I'll show you how I did this. And I had these all cut out, and I can see I want her there, so I put her right about where I want her, and then just make a crease down here along the edge so I can see what to cut off. And then I'm going to cut a little bit above it. Okay. I'm tempted to keep those. I just might. So she'll go just like that. And see, I can see that that little arm is just coming out a little too far. So we're just going to whack that off, because I don't want it in my crease on this side either. I feel like this needs to come off a little bit more. Okay, now that's what she'll look like. So I just glue her down with some glue stick. There we go. Pretty much anytime I glue stuff down like this, I like to take a piece of parchment paper and then a card and just make sure they're down good. I've got good adhesion. That's all that is. Perfect. So there we have it. And this is basically just, you know, rinse and repeat. I'm just going to go through all my little things. I'm going to cut some tags out of these, and I'm going to use my images and stick on them. I'm going to stick stuff here. So, you know, it's just find what fits and what you like and glue it down. And I will do that and then come back and I will show you how I sew in my signatures, and we'll finish it up. Now I've got my little book decorated. I just found pieces out of the original pattern book that kind of fit in the spots where I needed something. Got my ladies on the back panels here, and then my little inserts here. I was able to find a spot for Norm and Sue Morris. You know, the Morrises. Yeah, that made me happy. And more inserts, tags, whatever. And my back piece, and I didn't add a lot of little extras. I just wanted to keep it kind of simple. So I'm to the point now where I am ready to sew in my signatures, and I also need to glue my pocket ends here. So I'm just going to use, I've got some Bearly Art Precision Craft glue, and I'm going to put it right here on the edge. just like that. And I've got a little clamp. Put these here to hold it while it dries. And I'll just do that on both ends. Now to sew in, I just marked my holes for a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can see I used my centering ruler, and then I laid my piece on here at the same time and marked them in the same place at the same time, so I'd make sure that they fit exactly right. So I did that here, here, and here. And I'm going to go ahead, I pulled off a piece of waxed linen about 2.5 times the length of my signature. 1, 2.5. And it's going to go in here. I want my ties on the inside, so I'm going to start on the inside and poke down through the middle and down through the middle. Leave a tail. Come up through one end. Doesn't matter which end. And then hit the end hole on the signature. There it is. Come up. Now cross over the middle and go down through the other end hole. Like so. Keep them taut. Don't pull too hard. You don't want to rip through your paper. Come back up through the center hole and straddle your middle piece. This one's on this side, so we want this tail on the other side. Make sure everything is snug. Feels snug to me. And then I'll tie a knot. You can do a surgeon's knot, which is basically a granny knot with one more. There's your granny knot with one more. Or that's not a granny knot, that's a, what is that? A half hitch with one more loop. And then just do it again with the regular once over. Oops. Okay. Trim my little ends short. And that's it. Now I'll do that to my other two and then let these end pieces dry, and then we're done, y'all. That's it. So here we have our completed file folder, book, mini album. I don't know what we're calling it. Whatever. And easy to do, so fun. I hope that you will give this a try and check out the inspiration video links in my video description so you can kind of see where these came from. And you can go through your magazines. I've got, I've got like a couple of these old Life magazines. And, you know, some of them have really big pictures, but I can just go through and find some parts and pieces of smaller ones. And then, you know, cut out what I want to keep and then pitch the rest, because keeping full magazines can really take up a lot of unnecessary space sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to go through the rest of my vintage books, and then y'all use your new ones. If you don't have old magazines to go through, that's okay. Pick up a new one. I think a Birds and Blooms would make a really cool one of these books, because there's just so much pretty in there. And seed catalogs, oh gosh, they would look good too. This food and wine, lots of good stuff in here. I made one using a Real Simple magazine, just a fairly current issue, and I just cut up the pictures that I liked and that fit, and I just made this kind of more of a glue book. I didn't paint the file folder first, I just left it completely blank, and here's what I ended up with. I haven't made any tags to put in it, but I'm going to. I've got some extra file folder pieces. I'm going to cut some tags and put in here. But you can see I just found images out of one magazine. This is just one issue of Real Simple. Oh, I forgot. I've got to still have to glue my little ends on. But yeah, super simple and fun. And for my signatures, oh, see, this was just one big image that I cut in half and glued on there. I really like this. I had some cardstock that I hardly ever use anymore, so I cut a couple of pieces of cardstock for the covers of my signatures and then put a picture on, and this is just plain computer paper so that whoever I give this to can continue to add things, or they can journal in here, whatever they want to do. So yeah, whatever your style is, if you do a messy mixed media style, if you do vintage, if you do just more glue booking, this can work for you no matter what. So give it a try. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I have got a busy work schedule coming up, so I don't know when I'll be back. But hopefully I'll come up with something else to share too in the not too distant future. So y'all take care. Thanks again. The end.